Hello.
Hi. Just gonna pull that back a bit.
Can you hear us just fine?
I can hear you just fine, and hello to anyone else tuning in as well. Hello, hello.
Hey.
The
So, yeah, sorry to let you start there that way.
no,
We're,
no.
we're
I
trying,
was just
we're trying to get
yeah.
the whole live thing going. It was like, nothing's working. Why does
That's
technology
like
always...
this is
Um,
you only know by doing. You know,
exactly.
we have to try it all out.
Yeah,
Exactly right. Fuck around and find out, as we like to say.
Fuck
But make
around
it
and
up to
find out indeed.
yeah. Well, this is our first Instagram feed for all those tuning in post Debauchery launch party.
yes. And also with a guest.
Yeah,
So very exciting tonight, and we would like to welcome Kieran to our Instagram lives this evening. Thank you, darling, for coming.
appreciate it, buddy.
My absolute pleasure. Definitely.
Um,
And I'm guessing you all can see yourselves. I actually can't see you at the moment. But I hope I'm coming through for everyone loud and clear
that
here.
is fabulous. Road life.
I was about to say you're catching me at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night, so this is the attire.
It's giving Hugh Hefner a little bit, to be fair, with the room.
There's a bit of
Yes,
Do that.
a bit of a Q
oh,
legacy with my fashion choices, I'm not gonna lie.
get some Debauchery red and black robes.
Mm.
Spicy.
I would
Um,
definitely cop that, actually. Keep me posted on that merch.
like, help me out. First of all, we're super grateful for you DJing last week at our event.
And
Of course.
might I say, man, that dungeon,
It was
that
hot.
thing, that the just the energy. Like I had three people come up to me like, I love it. Just the energy's electric. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Like it was, hey, well done.
Yes.
I really appreciate it, and I felt it. It was a good I've done the dungeon a few times at other events, but this was the first time where you had a quite a specific aesthetic and a specific feeling that you were trying to evoke there. So I think that works really well for the space, and it worked well with my, some of the music that I like to play, and perhaps music I like to fuck to as well.
You're like, I make myself horny with his music.
Yeah, well,
I
yeah,
think I walked down there a few times and I was seeing some amazing scenes both on the cross and on the picnic table. I mean, shit, spank bench. And you're just in the background going, just just literally. I'm like, this is great.
No, it's a great
um,
space to be in down there as well. It's but everyone really makes it pop just by their attendance and their outfits and getting involved, and breaking down all those little barriers that we all have to break down just to participate in such an event. So yeah, no, my pleasure and everyone else's pleasure by the looks of it as well.
at one point, I looked out onto the main floor. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so quiet. But we had a sellout event. There was 130, 138 tickets, and then we had extra people on top of that as well that were some friends. And yeah, I looked down to the main floor and it was really quiet. I was like, what's going on? I went upstairs. Upstairs was packed, but downstairs, same thing. And the energy. I was just on cloud nine. The adrenaline was pumping. The juices were flowing.
Oh my
I
god!
mean, the you know,
Like I'm sure,
the drinks.
I'm sure you've seen some crazy things in that. Look, I've seen some crazy. What was the craziest you reckon?
What was a standout?
What's the standout? Anything that popped into mind or?
The standout for me was seeing my partner geeing everyone up. Um, given that she's not as amongst it all, perhaps as I am, but uh, the energy from her was really good. Not necessarily participating, but just geeing everyone else up to participate. At the same time, I'm used to seeing some pretty wild scenes down in that room and the upstairs at our secret spot. One of the things I liked that I hadn't quite seen before was was actually non-sexual, which was some people. There was a couple in particular, and everyone had really amazing outfits. This couple in particular had a fantastic outfit, a bit more ravey, a bit more like Duffy, as well as that kind of black, lacy, feathery elements that speak to the Debauchery brand. And they were just loving it, like dance floor wise. Sorry?
Out in that outfit?
Did they what out in that
Did they
outfit?
have the nipples out in that outfit?
Maybe later. I don't think so. You're trying to, marry it up to what you remember seeing. Yeah. I saw a lot of nipples. It's hard to remember the nipples. There's lots of nipples.
There's a lot of nipples.
There was definitely a lot, I guess.
I was just thinking maybe you're talking about the best dress winner. So they had feathery stuff.
Potentially. I missed, I was still doing setup downstairs. I think when you all would have done that up on the main floor with the performances, because then we really properly kicked off in the basement after that, around just after 9 o'clock. So who's who in the zoo, I don't know when I'm stuck down in the basement, but happily so.
Happily so, absolutely. Now we wanted to bring you on here as well. You wrote a book, was it a year and a half, nearly 2 years ago?
The writing probably started longer, and then it was published September 2023. So it's a year and a half now. It's been out in the world. Thank you for enjoying it and reading it and platforming it here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Look, it's got some great reviews online as well. When reading it, I couldn't help but think that you were like the protagonist. Was that a lot of personal experiences that sort of delved into the writing of the book, or was it a lot of naughty thoughts that sort of went into it? Combination.
There's usually a healthy mix of both, and a debut novel, a lot of people's first time often is a little bit autobiographical. The caveat here is that it's a fantasy version of Sydney, and also that it's two main characters. It's a dual POV, as they say, dual point of view between two different protagonists. But they both embody certain conflicting elements of my own personality, which means that invariably they're going to do some things that maybe I have done as well. But there's plenty in there that they do. There's plenty.
So your own essence gets thrown into the book somewhere, like,
Absolutely. And that was part of the point of it, was to illustrate how it feels to live in the modern, in a modern city in this country, and the conflicts that maybe aren't as obvious, or like they're not as loud. They're just those kind of everyday things that kind of chip away at your soul.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking a personal question? Are you originally from Sydney?
I am from Diamond Beach, up near Foster Taree, from Warramai land. So I moved here when I was 18, and I've kind of been back and forth, in and out ever since. This has been the longest stint actually, since the pandemic. So it's glad to be back.
I know it's one of those things. I'm a country girl myself, and I feel like the shock of the city life, Sydney's hustle and bustle, it is very overwhelming and can be really crazy, but super fun all at the same time.
There's always something on, which I like.
Yeah,
it's what we're used to, but
Indeed, I do think I'll end up in the regions eventually, but there's still a bit of stimulation I need at this age.
Talking about
I'm like, I just want a farm so I can grow some veggie plots, because I wanted to we had steak for dinner, and I wanted to get spring onions, and it was $3.99 for spring onions. I was like, I
Like,
used to grow them back at my parents' house. I'm like,
yeah, see, she wants to go to the
I
farm.
want
I'm
my
like,
veggie pot.
I just want to go to the RSPCA. All the dogs are coming home with me. Let's go.
But, hey, that sounds like a farm's in your future. I'm not gonna lie. And hey,
Exactly.
you can get freaky on a farm as well. There's on a farm, no one can hear your screams of pleasure.
Yeah, well, if enough acreage, I can walk around naked. No one know.
That's it. That's it. Bring it
So
on.
like,
Bring it on.
um, and so you said you were writing it well before it was published, obviously, but like, was that something that was like over 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, or something that had been in the works for even longer?
Yeah, I think it started properly around 2017, and it was just something that was in the background, chipping away. Because I'd had a big gap of not writing from when I was younger up until around that 2016 period, and then I think the book was probably happening from the 2017 mark. And then once the pandemic hit, at that point I had a full draft, but I knew there was like a lot wrong with it. And then during the pandemic, I actually had time to work on it and go, all right, well, I need to like figure out what to actually do with this to make it better. And you need that time to really have, yeah, you need both the time to sit down and do it, but you need the time after initially writing it to come back with fresh eyes. And both of those elements were really helpful. I ended up having to rewrite the whole second half basically and change a lot of elements, but it was all in the service of it, and it was all a relearning of craft because after you learn a bunch of stuff in high school and maybe a little bit after that, but and you're much more passionate at that time, and you really want to know all the bits and pieces, and you want to know the rules so you know which rules to break, and so you're intentional. But yeah, so it's a bit of a longer term process, but I'm glad that it's out, and it's had a really good 18 months for an independent publication. So yeah, happy.
That's good. Like we all got a lot of productivity done in the pandemic because we're all stuck at home.
Indeed, I'm sure you built some wild sex tables.
I got so bored in the garage, you wouldn't believe it.
Look, I moved back with my parents. I lost my day job and my night job in Sydney, and I moved back to the country with my parents. And I've had the longest break from sex since I lost my virginity, because I moved back with my parents. But we had our veggie plots, which was amazing.
My dad.
Yeah, so I'm just making up for that with, gosh, what it always says on Friday night. That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Which event was this past Friday?
Yeah, we decided to go let somewhat of my hair down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, sorry, Dolly, you go.
No, I was just saying how lovely that is.
Okay, so it's some reflections on the evening of Debauchery, the Debauchery launch party. We were breathtaking by just
not only just the reviews from people, but like there was one moment I was chatting to a lovely woman, a lovely couple actually, and I think they might have got there after the speech, or they got there quite late. And they were just like, "Oh, this is amazing! I love it. This is so good." I'm like, "Yeah, that's great." And I'm just being like a little midget, going, "Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good." And
Yeah.
they went, "Oh, my name's Ash." And I'm like, "Oh, hi!" And I was like, "We're just listening to it. It's good."
Yeah.
I feel like the balance of people as well. We've consistently tried to put forward what we're about, what we're trying to achieve, and we had no human issues on the night. We had the little hiccup with the speakers, which you absolutely nailed for us. We're so grateful for that. But other than that, like there was such a solid crowd. There were a good ratio of men to women, singles and couples, and all the fuckery. It was just like it was just like you had swingers that had never done some kink stuff before trying that, and then some kinksters getting wild upstairs in the orgy room, and it was just refreshing and really organic. I think that's probably a good word for the crowd.
I want to know how, because like, how did you get into DJing at this at OSS? Like, it just
So Swingers Club.
how? Like, I like you know, it's not something you go and seeking DJ at sex club. What like?
Well, I would love it if the venue ever had to do that, just to see that. But no, it was a bit more sneaky than that. It was it just so happened that an old friend of mine was you know dating Jess, who is one of the co partners or one of the managers of the venue, and so it was very organic in that way. And you know, it was a lovely catch up after the pandemic, and I'd moved back to Sydney, and I just joined up with an agency to you know get back into DJing a bit more regularly, and so yeah, it was all very natural because I'd had interest in the space. You know, I'd had experiences, whether in groups or whether just queer stuff going on. I love breaking down the taboos and all that jazz. So yeah, the
Yeah,
fact that Jamie was involved in it, and I wanted to, you know, again, we were reconnecting after a few years, and it was a new relationship for him, and obviously, you know, you want to find out about who they are as well. And so yeah, it was all a very natural thing, and I mustn't have been that shit when I started DJing there. I must have figured out what the vibe was, and I mean, and which can vary a lot. You know, with the dungeon is only a relatively new thing since Ray and Jackie at exclusively RHP kind of pitched it, and it was a bit difficult just because the venue has a bit of a you know, they got neighbours. It's in Annandale. There's residential. It's on Parramatta Road, but you know, it backs onto residential. So yeah, it like they had to figure it out, and once we figured out that it could work. Yeah, it's a great spot to be down in. But even up the stairs, you can be going anywhere from R&B and to yeah, like dark techno and deep techno, like what we were playing.
I have to say, even like just personally, and everyone's different, right? But personally, music is
it's the
something
key.
it's very personal to me. And like Ash will say, "Oh, have you watched this movie? Have you watched this movie?" I'm like, nah. Like I would just be at home and I listen to music all day, every
They're like,
day.
hey, you know this song? I'm like, no.
But so for me, when playing, I think it's really to create that energy. If you've got like the Backstreet Boys playing whilst, you know, maybe you can get in time to it or something, but I don't know. I feel like something really sexy and
Pretty much the
it's just like it's the cherry on top.
the music that you collated, honestly, like I don't know how you do it. How do you do it? You just
I literally
randomize it.
have a playlist here, which I originally had just Sex Club, and that was a playlist. You know, like there's you know, you don't pre-plan a set, but you have, you know, categories in your USB, which is how I bring the music to the venues. Other people bring laptops and stuff, but yeah, but that Sex Club playlist has a wide variety, like I was saying, like R&B to techno. So I actually had to make one specifically for Debauchery because I was like, this one is going to be like proper sex dungeon vibes. So, and I had to download some new stuff, but it's all in the direction that I've been heading musically anyway. And but it is excuse me, it is difficult because the playrooms and play spaces, you do have to be mindful of a few different factors. One being, is it going to be too aggressive? Is the music going to be too aggressive or too like soary, like in terms of, you know, big crunchy synths? So generally, I lean more towards the kind of more organic feels, the kind of deeper, can still be dark, but yeah, that kind of just deeper
Yeah.
feelings. Uh, and you're also worrying about, yeah, like kind of what you said with the Backstreet Boys, the tempo.
Everyone was
You know,
in the music. Oh,
Yeah,
make the comment.
that's out. That's what about DM. Hi, Simon. That's what about DMs. He was down there. He's like, dude, you got to go downstairs. I was like, all right, I'll be down in a sec.
and on that note, I must say it was a great a great thing to see you had DM's Dungeon Masters. For those who are unfamiliar with the term, I'm still picking up the lingo myself. So yeah, it was great to see their presence down there, helping everyone. A couple of people were a bit disappointed that they couldn't get fully involved. I think.
There was a girl during the evening. I won't say what she looked like because it was very unique, but she propositioned Ash, not knowing again that he was running the event, and she's like, "Do you want to fuck?" And he's like, "I can't right now. I'm running the party."
I'm flattered. I'm so sorry. And she's like, "Oh, I didn't know who you were." I was like, "It's okay."
I love that. Yeah.
So I got hands to shake before I shake any other body parts. Yeah.
That's it. I say hello to my hand.
No, honestly, the general vibe of the night, the music and everything delivered far exceeded what we anticipated. And we definitely have.
Thank you for putting it on, and thank you for the kind words, and always keen to be back in that base.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a quick personal question for you. So considering you curated a unique playlist for the evening, have you used it personally at home in the bedroom? Yes.
Actually, not yet. Not yet. But
tonight.
it's interesting actually. There's an artist called Ox1. I think it's OCXONE. It's a woman. I can't remember where she's from, but I could literally just put her on, and at least for the first part of the night, and that would be a vibe because it's all this weird atmospheric, like half beats. They're not like the full driving tracks that I was probably playing. It's like slightly more on the softer side to that, but still in that kind of weird, dark, industrial, dreamlike vibe, which I really. So that's kind of like the current. If I don't have a playlist in mind or anything, I kind of just go to Ox1. So if anyone's interested in that, that's my current. Yeah, it's important though, right? Do you have a sex playlist that you have? Do you guys?
I've got one actually. It's been shared around like a peace pipe at a UN meeting. It's currently sitting at about 36 hours.
Yeah, no, but you've shared it probably with some people that have added to it.
And I've had to like delete and remove. I'm like, no, that's just not going to belong there.
There was one where it's very sad. I was like, did you?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's one of those Spotify playlists that you share and that gets shared back and it's just added. I'm like,
I have to go to a dark and sexy playlist which I use in my personal life, but also for work. There's a lot of the 2 feet sort of vibes.
Yeah.
The slow beats with that sexy guitar. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. So I love that sort of thing.
Now, I'll add some more to the list for next time.
Absolutely. So just we don't want to take up too much of your time this evening, but
whatsoever.
Ash might have a couple of questions.
Oh, look, we got this final little round here. It's just called Fast and Dirty. The way I like it, but not too fast. Sometimes you just got to get down and fast and
yeah.
100%.
So it's like if you like summer or winter, that kind of thing. So it's just 2 options. So sensual or rough.
Ooh, I'd say sensual and then rough during the peak and then some sensual aftercare.
So we go like it's a roller coaster.
Morning sex or late night sex?
Oh, late night, yeah. The debauchery, you know. Mornings are for coffee and yoga. I guess the yoga can evolve into something as well.
Different type of downward dog.
Different type of downward dog, yes. You go, darling. There's a few.
What's in the bedroom? What's your biggest ick?
In the bedroom, what is the biggest ick? I would say if you don't have music and the bed's squeaky.
Oh, no! The squeaky the better. You know you do it.
No,
I get
I'm so
Oh,
it's like it's the sensory. It's part of like I can't be
like,
somewhere and it's like it's just one of those sensory things that I'll get fixated on, and then you're not present after that. Yeah, so yeah, that's why the playlists are helpful.
absolutely. Can you tell us an awkward moment during sex that you've had? I'm just
Ah,
putting you on this.
losing my virginity, maybe. Well, I think back when I was younger, I think the condom phase was always awkward. I didn't feel natural or like in rhythm with that. But yeah, that stopped. You take it all in your stride after a while.
Yeah.
Even the awkward moments can just be funny. You know.
all right. So what's the hottest party you've been to? Obviously, besides ours.
It could be anywhere in
Well,
the world. Anywhere in the world.
Debauchery, baby. Uh, I would say maybe some of the private events that were just like, more
Yeah.
um, more friends and friends of friends, and to invite into a house or something. But again, that all has stemmed from our secret spot venue and the community that I've made there. So, but yeah, it helps when there's some extra bits and pieces like a hot tub or something. But also the dynamic of when the club is amazing and immersive, and there's so much that could happen and so many people that you could engage with, and then the dynamic with which I also don't often get to experience because I'm usually in that work mode and kind of stuck in one spot, so you're not meeting people in the same way a lot of guests are. Whereas if you're at like a private event where you're not DJing, like I get to be the pet, like I get to be like
I want to play too.
yeah, I want to play a different kind of play, yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously if it's like a smaller thing, you're generally knowing each other a bit, you're in contact a bit more. So yeah, slightly different.
Yeah, I have to say, there was one event at OSS. Managed to fit 7 people into one of the private rooms.
Yeah.
That's logistics
like a
right there.
private party inside the party.
I think 7 or 8 is probably the magical number. That there's 5 or 6 maybe.
There was 4 girls on the bed and then 3 dudes.
Well, that's the thing. I do recall getting involved in a 6-way in the dungeon, but that was again, it was after midnight. It was after I clocked off. You don't really have much more time. It was fun, but we had developed a little bit of rapport with some people in that group from the dance floor. But other than that, I kind of just slotted in later with some lovely flirtatious consent. So. Yeah, it's a bit of a like I get to watch and experience a lot of amazing things. I'm not always the one right amongst it in the sandwich of naked bodies. Yeah.
Do you find that sort of a bit of a tease almost?
It can be. There's the occasional time where I have to adjust my pants, especially down in that dungeon where shit's really going off. Like in front of you, right in front of you. Yeah.
No.
What is going on there?
No, it's fantastic. It's one of the best people watching gigs you can ever have, honestly.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Just the last one here, Kieran. What's something you still want to try? There's something that's.
I think I mean there's still some stuff on my on the sexuality side that I have to work up to still. I'm still only a handful of years into being comfortable with myself as bisexual and understanding that that's not like a 50-50 thing and navigating a lot of that. I think there's also some internalized homophobia from like growing up, and there's still that some of that stuff can hold you back in the group scenarios. It's also sometimes hard to, again, if I haven't been there at the beginning of a night, knowing people, talking to people about stuff, you don't always get to gauge who's bi and who's not. because again, I'm only coming in for like a little bit at the end. So those conversations around like, is this going to be a vibe with me and him, or is it just me with his wife?
Yeah, we have something exciting to announce in relation to that exact topic. And this came up with my hairdresser, literally just in a week that's been. And he's French, and in France, the swinging scene is very prominent and not so as somewhat underground as it is here in Australia. It's very out there. It's very accepted. It's very wild. And not saying that we're not wild here, but it is a little bit more underground for new people to try and get in and find out where to go or what's this, what's that. And I said, you know what? You need to come to our next party. We're just waiting on OSS to confirm the dates, but we have things planned for at least up until the end of the year. And I said, you have to come to the next party. He goes, well, I'm gay, but like I love watching and I love all of it. And he's like, you know, approaching someone in that sort of scenario is really confronting, nerve-wracking. You don't know whether it's going to go good, it's going to go bad. And so we're going to have a specific rainbow wristband that's not so in your face. It's going to be there if you're bisexual, or swing for your own gender only, and that's going to be available for men and women. And so people can just have a quick look at the ribs, and if that is something that they're wearing, then you can just
makes it
have
easier.
a conversation about
Approach.
one of them.
It's like the traffic lights, but for sexuality rather than am I single and interested or not. Yeah, sounds good.
We found it really beneficial having wristbands for photography. But then this additionally, where it'll be quite subtle but obvious at the same time. If you're looking, you'll see it, and if you're not looking, you probably won't notice it. So it won't be too
obvious, but it also makes the approach a lot more easier.
Yeah. And so we're excited to bring that to our next event.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that plays out, because it's it's a nice little icebreaker, or an avenue in for that conversation. It's I mean, it's also one of the reasons I know. Shout out to Rave Temple, who that's a brand that focuses on queer sauna, sex on premises events, much more for people who are non-binary and much more in that queer space. And then obviously our secret spot has Club V for the all girls night and things like that. But yeah, it's nice to have some of that. Something that has been intentionally thought of by the promoter to kind of, allow for that inclusivity to play out properly in this space. Yeah, because it's a queer space inherently because it's swinging, but like I said, there's still things that we're all working through, and it might just be that one extra little thing that helps get someone out over their own internal walls or something like that. So I'll be interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it's exactly like where this all sort of started was we both equally want to help people on their own sexual journey, as we're still learning ourselves, of course, but we've both been through a lot, experienced a lot, and if we can be the facilitators in someone's own
journey,
sexual, mental,
everything. It's its own reward. So
it makes us feel good.
It does make it. It's honestly.
It's the Debauchery brand, right? You're doing workshops all the time, and I like that. You mentioned it kind of at the beginning, where the crowd was this nice mix of like newbies, people that were into kink, people that were, kind of established in the scene but hadn't done as much kink before. So it's kind of really, other than this one, the other like more kink and BDSM nights I'd seen, whether at OSS or at ARC or whatever, were much more like established fetish events where there's that slightly higher potential not barrier, but
Yeah.
just slightly more confrontational potentially for someone who isn't as used to the scene. So I think debauchery really
Segue.
connects that really well.
Yeah, we wanted to build a bridge
Mm.
and connect everyone. Like, it doesn't matter
Yeah,
if you're kink or swinging or whatever fetish or whatever you identify you want or like, you want to build it, connect everyone together, and for them to have an amazing time. And hearing those reviews, those feedbacks, and we're still sifting through emails and messages, and it actually has its own reward. And it makes me and Anna just feel absolutely incredible that we've delivered it. And I cannot wait. We cannot wait to just keep delivering more and more debauchery.
Exactly.
deliver me the debauchery, and congratulations. Yeah, I know it's difficult on a first, especially to sell out. But also, there's lots of factors going on the event management side, and we rubbed up against some where some problems can occur. But everything, from all intents and purposes, it's you've set up a really good foundation. So I look forward to seeing everything you do next.
And we're so grateful that you were part of the start of this experience, and what is to come absolutely will be deviously debaucherous.
Deliciously
debaucherous.
Even more debaucherous than some of the sex scenes in the old book I've got you perusing there. So
now, Kieran, where can we find a copy of this amazing book? Can you tell the people where that will be?
Yeah, so I currently have a direct purchase link. It's in my link in bio if anyone wants to jump on my profile. It's a PayPal link where I would just fulfill the order myself, send it to you via post. That way you get a little signed copy and a few bookmarks in the mail. Otherwise, bookshops have finished up their consignments. What's that?
We have a little touch.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mine's over there on the chair, but we have these amazing bookmarks and a little signed copy.
Yeah. There is a cheeky bookmark in particular that I think it says. There were 3 bookmarks I made, each with a different quote. Which I think the one that was most debauchery. That's Cupid is a cunt.
I was gonna say, but you said.
But no, the one that's a bit more debauchery vibes. I must have given you one, but I think it was.
I felt degraded and worshipped at the same time.
Yeah, I felt degraded and worshipped at the same time. I was like, that sounds like your mission statement.
And then you're like, who's a good girl?
Yeah. And there wasn't that much specific, on kink and BDSM, or even there's a bit of swinging in the book, and a bit of poly, and a bit of the thought process, the discussions around what that means, and how the characters navigate or don't navigate that well. And I'm interested. It was the first time, and I've learned so much since all that. As in since finishing the book and since being part of the community. And it's there's plenty more fodder to come, I'm sure.
There is a number 2. There we go.
Yes, maybe not for the org, but I'm in the middle of writing another book now where more on the fantasy side, but still plenty of smut. So we'll
Hey,
we'll
look,
talk.
I should put you in contact with the book Spice, which is an Aussie company up in Queensland. I don't know if you've heard about them, but they promote. Oh, you do, yes, perfect. They promote a lot of the naughty smart books, and I did some work with them last year. So that could be a nice sort of collaboration.
We love books, and we love spice, and we love collaboration. So bring it on.
Smart.
Smart. Please excuse me, there's fireworks happening outside my window if there's any noise pollution there. But that might be our city of Sydney buzzer on our live right now.
Yeah, exactly. And look, we are super grateful for you coming on tonight. Um,
Thank you for having me on as your first. You said I'm the first live guest that you've
Yes,
had, or
Yes.
you popped out guest cherry.
Oh yeah.
there's not many cherries left to pop, so I'm glad I got to taste that one.
Like, I'll take that one then.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah.
that. So we're super grateful, and thank you everyone that joined in. We will be posting these on our YouTube and little snippets on our Instagram page, and we'll put the link for Kieran's profile, so if you want to grab his book, you can get that in his bio. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, it's on Amazon as well, but we're not as much as I loved what they did to transform some elements of the supply chain of books. There's a lot of other ethical issues, but hey, we're on the platform of Meta, which we're living under capitalism here. We can't really extricate ourselves. So if you want to go buy via Amazon, go ahead and do that as well.
No, you
Um,
want the signed copy, guys.
Yeah, you want the sign.
You want that first
You want
one
the-
signed.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, come to me. Come to fuck Amazon.
Yeah.
But thank
Alright.
you so much, darling.
Thanks, Jerry.
No worries. Keep
Bye.
fucking against capitalism, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, stay debaucherous out there. Stay debaucherous. Mwah.
Stay
Mwah.
true.
Bye.